I remember sneaking into my 15-year-older brother's room and booting up his old Sega Saturn console with games like Sega Rally Championship, Manx TT Superbike, Mech Warriors 2, which was insanely frustrating to me as a kid, and Nights into Dreams was one of those games. Playing it as like a 5-6-year-old, I vaguely remember loving the visuals, but the gameplay was insanely frustrating for me. But you know, that's like 99% of the games when you're like 5 or 6. It's been a long time since then, and coming back to it with the Steam updated version that gives you updated graphics and resolution was an absolute joy. This is a game made by the Sonic team from Sega, and you can definitely see that. The DNA is definitely there, with a fluid, fast, and visually very stylized sort of look. It has a very simple gameplay loop with a boss at the end of each level, and it's very arcadey in its nature, like many games in the 90s. We follow two protagonists, Claire and Elliot, who are sleeping and trapped in a nightmare that you must escape by controlling Knights, our main protagonist, which serves as like a persona for both of these characters. The gameplay loop is fairly simple. You collect 20 orbs called Idea so that you can destroy 4 different Idea captures. On top of that, you can also fly through rings, collect objects, and you are imposed a timer for each Idea capture to be destroyed. And all of this matters because you will get a rank at the end of each section from A to F, depending on your high score. Keep in mind that this is actually pretty important if you want to do the last level for each of these characters, since you need to get at least a C in all previous ones. This game came out in 1996, and we need to always take that into account when looking at an almost 30-year-old game. This is an era where video games were just a lot harder to play than nowadays. And Night into Dreams was actually considered a much more friendly and casual game. And I do believe that this game can be frustrating for some players out there. It does require you to get a little bit used to the gameplay in general, since it doesn't really even tell you how the gameplay works and what even the story is about. You do have like a separate text tutorial on the menu that also tells you the story, so be sure to check that. But if you stick with it, the gameplay loop actually works really well in my view. And honestly, I was left just wanting to do more levels of this game, because this game just aged wonderfully in my view. Like, it has some gorgeous visuals with Knights having such a distinct and interesting look to it. I mean, it's made by Naoto Oshima, who is the same designer who made Sonic the Hedgehog. I believe the music just fits incredibly well with this very whimsical and dreamy vibe made by Naofumi Hataya. Each and every single one of these levels just feels distinct and interesting in its own way. You got Spring Valley, Mystic Forge, Soft Museum, Splash Garden, Frozen Bell, Stick Canyon. All of these levels just feel very unique, visually speaking, and even they have their own distinct mechanics to it. At the end of each level, you get to fight a boss, kind of like Sonic. And to be fair, the fights are rather simple, but the design of everything is so great. You fight against the Wise Man the Wicked, you fight against the antagonist of this game called Riala, you fight against Puffy, and many other like short bosses that are so distinct from each other. They have like different mechanics. It's honestly a shame that we didn't really get many games from Night into Dreams. We only really had the 2007 game Knight's Journey into Dreams for the Wii, but I really do believe that this gameplay loop and overall visual and world is so interesting, and it could be definitely explored and polished further to create an even cooler experience in the world of Knights. I do believe that Night into Dreams is still one of the most visually and imaginative simple arcade games that you can play from an era of gaming where everything was a lot more simpler. You could get it from Steam at a pretty low price, and I would absolutely recommend you to go and check it out for yourself. Quite a while ago now, I went to a video game fair where you had a bunch of people just selling, you know, old video games and old consoles and all that. And one of the things that I bought from there was this. So this is the Japanese Sega Saturn case, and honestly, I don't even have a Sega Saturn anymore because unfortunately the Sega Saturn from my brother broke, but there's something about the graphic design and the characters and everything about this case that I just absolutely adore. Even the topography choices that they make and the colors, everything about it, man. There's something about this game visually that it just speaks to me, I don't know. But yeah, that's it for me. Definitely give this game a go if you haven't played it yet. It's a really interesting game. And yeah, if you like this video, subscribe and have a go and see ya.